What's on your mind, Michael? What's going on?
What's keeping you up at night?
$57,000.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Well, that should be no problem. From Indianapolis, Indiana, this is Truth Lake.
This sounds like another client of ours that reached out to me and said, would you be willing to donate around 30 to 50 t-shirts? They do a lot with us. I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, why not? A couple weeks go by and I'm like, hey man, what's that count looking like? You know, you're estimating 30 to 50. Is it 30 or is it 50? Well, it's 150. It's like, well, that's a whole lot different than the 30 or 50 I said I was donating. I was like, okay.
So you're going to fire them as a customer.
No, you're
you
not.
can keep your $100,000.
Right.
I'm going to keep my 100 t-shirts.
Oh man, it's
Call
just
it
been
even.
that kind of week. It's been crazy. How are you boys doing?
Oh man, I'm doing incredible.
Living
your
the
office
dream.
looks
Well,
awesome.
Well, first of all, how about this new studio?
Yeah, I like it. A lot.
Expansive was the first word that came to mind.
We've got guitar, printer, art, lamps.
I've even printed the show notes for you on the
Really-
paper.
Yeah. Is it okay if I get up and grab
Let's
them?
Yeah,
Awesome.
grab them.
All right,
Just
cool.
bring your mic with you.
I'm not taking my mic.
So I picked up the extra boom arm, an extra mic. That one is just the XLR only.
Why did
So-
you
It'll
make
be
me buy
great.
stuff?
What's that?
Why'd you make me buy stuff if you were already going to buy the stuff?
I'll tell you what. If you don't want that mic,
Well, actually, to be fair, Michael, that's your mic
That figures.
or mine.
actually, that one's yours.
Okay.
I asked
You're
him.
using Michael's.
All right.
Well, that's bullshit. I
you
wanted
did-
to make sure that
it
mine
smells
stayed
better.
with me.
Names on him.
You can
Did you
switch
engrave-
chairs.
Did you do what Marvin and Huey did when I was in 5th grade and steal my big fat comb and scratch out the MS initials and put MH? Did you engrave my microphone?
I did nothing of
No.
the sort.
But would you like to know what I did to mine to market?
I'd like to know. I'd like to know, but I don't want to know.
How many of these books on your beautiful bookshelf, by the way, how
Thank
many
you
of
so
those
much.
books have been read?
Well, the ones here, and the from here over is blue or tan, but the red books.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
You
color.
read that?
Oh, interesting. I see what you did there.
Yeah, he's a little slow.
Mhm.
But I think they've all been read by somebody. Certainly not me.
Well, I have a Shakespeare similar to the Bronte one, and yeah, technically I've read
Right.
some of it, but
Do you read books?
I do.
Like, I know you've actually given me a physical book with
No,
paper.
I love physical books. I read less than I used to because my eyes are so tired at the end of the day. It's a lot harder than it used to be.
but it's even harder to read your phone when you have tired eyes. Or it should.
I don't read on my
Yeah,
phone.
that's good. That's smart.
No,
That's smart.
I'll read
That's
on a
good for your
Kindle
health.
though. My wife reads 100 books a year
Well,
for the
small
last
congrats.
6 years.
Have her
I didn't know
meet
that,
Carrie.
but she was bragging about her
Yeah.
Kindle app,
Yeah, I think my wife can
Yeah.
outdo that. But
and
Carrie, I
it's
think-
all like murder chick lit.
I think
stuff.
Carrie does like 130 days or something, doesn't she?
she
Is that aggressive?
she does at least. Well, she had one year where she went
outdid
crazy.
it. Yeah.
But she does at least 150 a year, and
Oh, wow.
it's a lot of audiobooks.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh,
not
does
all
that
physical.
count?
And no, audiobooks do not count.
That doesn't count, though.
They're
right?
education. They're valuable.
I mean, it counts in my count.
no.
Oh, I'm
No,
going to start
because if
counting
it's
all the podcasts I
audiobooks-
listen to as a
Yeah.
book, right? I mean, that sounds
Yeah.
right.
If it's audiobooks, yeah,
I get-
I'd say at least 50 a year.
Shit, I'm
if
in
it's
for
podcasts, it's
5 a
in
week.
probably 1,000. If it's
I love it.
songs.
Hey, speaking of reading, thank you for sending the article over that I'd never read
it's
from Time.
it's
Did you read it?
interesting.
I read half of it.
I read
Thank
all
you,
of it.
by the way, just for even considering. Most people won't read.
I read it
period.
all. I had Lori read it. I had Jennifer read it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was
Moved.
unaware.
Well, it's also depending on the bias, and you guys already know my bias going into an article like
Yeah,
that.
right.
It's either a confession or a love letter to democracy.
I thought it was strategy. Did you
Oh,
think
absolutely.
it was? But that's
Oh,
what
I don't even
took
know that
away
anything's illegal.
Yeah, I didn't
Well, things have been ruled not legal, but that's different.
Right.
Are we purposely not talking about what the article's about?
Yeah.
That's for another conversation. But we were talking about reading.
Yeah.
No,
Why
no.
don't you summarize what the article was?
No,
Because
I'd
it's a
rather
good-
not. It's complex.
Well,
and
you brought it up.
You know how I get into it. No, I didn't. He brought it up.
It's the Democratic strategy on how to maneuver the 2020 election.
Yeah, that's a good way to
It was
put it
phenomenal.
neutrally.
And there was one individual that was really concerned about it, and he's somebody, and he wanted to put together a platform to anticipate the maneuvers that would be coming from.
Some would call it premeditation.
Yeah, and it was freaking brilliant
But
because
it is-
everything they planned for actually happened, and they had a plan for it.
So who published the article?
It was in Time.
Time magazine.
So they were even involved in the pandemic.
Yes.
No,
No,
that's
they were
an
not.
interesting point.
They were not.
Because it was a piece of leverage used in censorship.
Yes.
But yeah, it's interesting, and thank you for reading. And,
Dude, it was
and
awesome.
again, going
Thanks.
back to the reading thing, a good friend of the podcast, Matt Nettleton, not a sponsor,
No, absolutely not.
but he often will be talking about a subject, and he'll say, "Hey, have you read this book?" And I have learned over the last year or so of working with them, I immediately go read that book, and I've been really impressed. And the latest one
So
is
he
called
only-
Cry Bullies.
Yeah, he only likes good books.
It's about social muggers and victimhood aggressors.
Social muggers.
Yeah, and how
Ooh.
people use victimhood as a platform for achieving social power,
Yeah.
and the system of shutting it down. And
right.
and in my whole world of persuasion
Yeah.
and manipulation and all of that, it's fascinating.
Speaking of guests of the podcast,
Yeah,
Fabian is with us again today,
Who?
right? Yeah.
Who the hell is that guy?
Who's that dude?
50s
Fabulous.
crooner
Oh,
that my
I thought you were
grandmother
going
was in
with
love
the
with.
fifth Beatle.
Yeah, the fifth Beatle.
The fifth Beatle. Yeah.
Also known as pickleball champion, Fabian.
So Fabian, I heard you got like $12,000 worth of new equipment.
I did.
And what's your address?
And do you own guns?
Yeah, oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
so tell
Try
us
me.
about this.
No, the answer
this
is
equipment.
always I'm not answering.
Maybe.
So after a lot of years of like, I think just being hard headed and not like seeing the way of podcasting going more into video, I finally gave in. I've been working with a great video partner, Darren Cooper over at 1898 Creative. They're awesome people, but he keeps getting busier. His availability is starting to shrink. So I'm just like, man, I'm either like, because I told you guys already, like I had lost a ton of business at the beginning of the year. I'm just like, now is the time to do something different and just like try to change the trajectory of like where
Mhm.
things are
Yeah.
going. So I had a new client come up, pitched him on video, was like, this is
Cool.
the thing that needs to just like push me off the cliff, and it'll light a fire under my ass to like start working a little bit harder and learn a new skill. So
Spend some money.
nothing feels
That
better
always makes you work
than
harder.
spending money with 0% interest for 12 months. So I've got a 12-month timeline to pay
and
it
no
off.
income to show for it yet.
Congratulations
Yeah.
on the 12-month 0%.
Yeah,
Thank you.
kidding.
It felt good.
Yeah, it is
Uh,
great credit.
For now, it's an
Hey, good
investment.
credit is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
I know what it's like to be white now.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's great.
Are you not white? Are you brown? You're
We're
not
bringing this
brown.
back up. I am actually.
He
As
can
I
you
be
know.
recall.
whatever he wants to be.
But anyway,
I think I'm more brown than you.
I identify I identify as brown, but I typically would be considered white by most
So,
presumptuous people.
I identify as Mediterranean, which is where my olive brown skin comes into
Yeah.
play, which I think I'm a little darker than you, but I'm just saying.
My genealogy is assorted crackers.
Saltines.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
No, internationally
I was
assorted,
going
but-
somewhere with that until you threw that out there, so thanks.
But I
Go
used
on,
to,
Fabian.
go ahead.
Sorry.
Three cameras, lights, a live switcher, a monitor, just to be
Jeez.
able to like do everything on site and be 90% done pretty
Mhm.
much with the podcast as soon as we walk out of the room. So it's,
Oh, that's amazing.
I learned a few lessons 2 weeks ago when
What'd
we
you
did the
learn?
first trial run.
What'd you learn?
Just like different settings and stuff. Like there was some, if you're not familiar with cameras, just watching a ton of videos on how to get the right settings to make sure you have the right look, but then also making sure that like those settings translate into the other equipment that you're
Yeah.
running through it. So it's a lot more than I've done in the past, but it's going to open up the door for a lot more.
There's no auto button or anything. Like I always look for the auto on the cameras.
No, and that's one of the things where it's just like you really have to be, if you're live switching in person, like you really have to be paying attention because you're going between whoever's talking.
Right.
So,
do you find that it's a pain in the ass when you watch podcasts, when you watch a podcast where they're constantly going in and out on the person?
Like zooming in and out?
Yeah, like they kind of creep in and then they creep. It's not a hard zoom, but it's a slow creep in, slow creep out. It's like they're trying to keep the
Ken Burns effect.
Yes. I feel like they're trying to keep some kind of motion.
Yes, they want to keep people engaged. And this is where I'm struggling with, right? Because my expertise isn't in video editing. So I'm also just like, okay, am I doing the video just to have it as a piece of the content that needs to be available? And like whoever's going to watch it there will have a nice viewing experience, but it's not going to be as detailed as like the audio, which I also see there being a world where the two products have to be differentiated.
Yeah.
So I'd much rather, at least for the time being, spend more time up front on the audio, making that really good, since I know that the majority of the people are going to spend their time there.
Yeah.
And then doing like an MVP on the video, making sure that it's still there, but looks really high quality, right? But not doing all the other intricate shit that I would do with like the intro on the audio.
Yeah. But
and I think that that's fair.
Video seems like it's best for sharing content snippets.
Yes. And that's where I'm going to leverage the
putting it into
most
the
amount of
shorts.
time. Right? But having the longer form just be there, and it doesn't need to be anything flash. It just
and,
looks
and if you look at like Joe Rogan, there's very little interest to that video. But people watch it because
millions. Yeah.
You know,
do they watch it because they're looking for his reaction, or do they want? Why do they watch it?
I think that it's more engaging and more experiential to. If you're listening and you're driving, then obviously it's easier to just rely on the audio.
Yeah.
But I think that there are some people that they put it on in the background at the office or working at home or whatever. So they feel like they can connect more with the story that way. I have one friend who actually says that he only listens to podcasts that he can also watch.
Same here.
Because he can't, like he zones out if he doesn't have anything visual to kind of tie the audio to.
Yeah.
Which I don't relate to that, but I get it.
Yeah.
And I see the benefit of that.
Well,
go ahead. No,
I was going to say there's something I read some time ago that most podcasts on YouTube aren't watched. People use the audio for that reason. They just YouTube is their platform.
Rogan's the only one, literally the only podcast that I watch. And I usually watch because I want to see the facial reactions.
Well, and the guest for sure.
Yeah. I like
the Protect Our Parks episodes are worth watching.
Really good. I don't even know why I watch. That's why I'm asking.
Do you use Spotify for your podcasting? Because they have visual. They have video.
That's a nice feature.
I'm usually listening to podcasts in the car, truthfully.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
and your car obviously has a TV in it, so it probably plays the video.
And you don't even have to drive.
You can't put that TV on when you're driving.
Well,
unfortunately,
my friend I told you about, that's what he does. He actually, I don't know if he uses a cell phone or the dash or whatever.
Yeah, just mount your phone on the dash.
Oh yeah.
But he turns on the video, and that's. Yeah, he's apparently autistic or something.
I've only had
one Tylenol.
Of all the people that have listened to our
Tylenol
podcast.
American.
Tylenol America, ibuprofen. Of all the people that have listened to our podcast, I've only had one. Yeah, 10 of them.
They're in the room.
I've had one say to me, "I wish you guys did video."
Yeah.
Oh, now I will say that when John Arbuckle is our guest, his marketing guy has already reached out and asked for a copy of this because they want to do something with that internally, which I thought
interesting. That means we have to be good at what we do.
Yeah, we have to be not only good, but maybe start thinking about that other conversation sponsorship.
Which makes that Riverside feature, the remote one at least, nice because it just automatically produces the video.
Sons of bitches.
There's a glass for you right over there.
I know. I got it. I will
say one more thing on the video before we get into what we're talking about today, but like I think TV just sucks.
TV does
in general, right? You've got few and far between are like really good shows that keep you engaged. So I think people just want they're just used to having something to watch, and podcasts have taken that over. Not to the extent that like everybody's watching them, but that just like fills that gap of I don't have anything else to watch, so I might as well watch this podcast that I already listened to.
That's a really good point.
Especially when it's in like a niche subject matter, because I can't go on Hulu and watch a show about, I don't know, what, pickleball?
Right. Well, no, you can.
So, I mean, I would really...
Ironically, you can.
Well, what I really want is I want to find like a video podcast on that topic. How awesome would my business have to be able to work with you on this?
Really awesome.
to work on any podcast, you don't have to I bet your company is awesome. I'll work with anybody.
That is a stretch.
Yeah, I'll work with anybody until I don't have to.
One last thought on this whole podcast visual thing. When I tuned in to Joe Rogan the other day, they were talking about the FCC. They were talking about Jimmy Kimmel coming back, obviously. And Rogan made a point. He said, how crazy is it that the FCC is involved, but look around us. How are we getting our message out? He's talking about podcasts. There's no FCC involved with podcasts.
No, it's just like federal bandwidth.
Yeah, he's like the ultimate finger. Like, okay, FCC, go fuck yourself.
Well, that's why like Adam Carolla and a lot of the original people, they were like, I can just circumvent this whole system of bullshit.
What I want to say without having to give into the man.
You don't get charged for saying
Howard
fuck
Stern
and
got away with it for
a
decade or so.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, crazy.
His ratings were huge. It must have been the right time for it too.
I'm gonna go grab an ice cube for my glass. For what are we? Who's the shameless, non-sponsored plug for the alcohol today?
Today we've got a Stag Junior. It's a Buffalo Trace product. One of the best. Not a sponsor, I should mention.
Yeah.
And it is 130 proof.
Yes, it
is. So it's going to be pretty hot.
It's so good.
It cleared my sinuses, so thank you.
Very, very delicious.
Could probably run a 57 Chevy truck in a pinch.
So before we get started, one of the things that I wanted to bring up to you guys is the best show that's on right now, or at least one of them. I know there's a lot of options. Black Rabbit. Unbelievable.
Really?
Unbelievable.
Okay. Is that the Jason Bateman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason Bateman and
what platform
Jude Law.
is it on?
It's on Netflix. And it's about this kind of a swanky, trendy restaurant. And these two brothers own the restaurant. One of them's kind of a degenerate, and he kind of comes back in town after kind of leaving and taking off and on, gambling binges and stuff, and wreaks havoc, and it becomes really interesting. It's 8 episodes long. I watched the whole thing in 4 days or less. Unbelievable show. And I should mention Netflix, not a sponsor of the podcast.
Yeah.
So, I don't think they'll ever be a sponsor.
But do you guys think that, I'm thinking about this swanky restaurant that they had. It was kind of the trendy style restaurant that nobody dresses nice in. And that's kind of the thing now, right? So I see, jackasses like Aaron walking around calling himself a professional, but yet what is going on with what you're wearing today? I just don't understand that.
I'm glad you asked.
What the hell are those shoes?
Yeah, exactly. So my intent was actually I was going to wear my tux.
I knew it.
The problem was
too warm.
No, it doesn't fit anymore. But hang on.
Yeah, you've aged and
waist
expanded.
Is too big.
Waist,
the pants, the tux. The waist is too big. The chest and shoulders too small.
Wow.
So you pushed everything up.
So
and
out. It looks like I borrowed the tux of a younger, out of shape man. So that was flattering for me. I don't own any other suits anymore, but
just a tuxedo.
So you own a tux, no suit, not a single suit,
not anymore.
Sport coat, nothing.
Wow. I should probably get a sport coat. When I went to that event, it was all jeans, t-shirts, and sport coats.
GQ says
felt
you
like
should
I was back in the 90s
one
again.
One sport coat, one pair of dress slacks, one navy blue suit.
I agree.
4 dress shirts.
So I wanted to go a different direction.
So you really hard pivoted on this.
So I said, if I were showing up for a job interview, what's the worst thing I could wear? Now, I don't have any pants with holes in them. This is not it. I don't own pajamas. I don't have any offensive t-shirts. I do have one with an ostrich that says allegedly.
Okay.
Any Letterkenny fans?
That's appropriate. Yeah.
No,
not a Letterkenny fan.
That's too bad.
No.
Very offensive story there. So I decided to dress in a way that I wouldn't get a job if I were applying to, just out of respect for the episode.
You're not hired.
Yeah.
You're fired.
Yeah. So I got the thin sweatpants. I did wear underwear. Just as a gentleman.
Well, I don't need to know that.
As a gentleman.
Why do I need to know that?
I decided to wear my World Masters Jiu-Jitsu t-shirt because now a woman with multicolored hair would feel that I was a presence of violence and unsafe.
So you're going a size small on the t-shirt.
No, it's the right size. But
no, it's not.
It's
the
too
shoulder,
tight.
You know
because
how you can tell?
Why? You know why?
How you can tell?
Why?
The shoulder seams are above your shoulder.
Because they're so big.
No,
I was just telling you. I was just telling you. It is a medium, but yes, it is too small. That was the point because now you can tell just by looking at me whether or not I'm cold. So I'm hitting all these points of wildly inappropriate. Am I applying for a job as a bouncer? It's an appropriate t-shirt.
I've always been told that you never
and toes,
know. I'm not even going there.
They're disgusting.
Yeah, I'm not even touching it. This morning I went to go get a cup of coffee for Jennifer across the street, Cafe Patachou. I'm always over there.
Not a sponsor.
Leo, the kid that's always working the counter or usually working the counter, kind of had a goofy smile on his face. I said, Leo, what's going on this morning? He said, oh, Mr. Salemi, it's a rough morning. I said, rough morning? It's 9:00. He's like, well, I usually show up on time. I said, ooh, what do you mean you show up on time?
Okay.
He said, well, I show up when my shift starts. I said, so if your shift starts at 8, you walk in at 8? He's like, yeah. I said, yeah, it's unacceptable. I said, Leo, on time's 15 minutes early. He's 20-something. He looks at me. He says,
he wouldn't know.
He's like, I no. Well, he said, my manager and I had a conversation about this. So I now show up at least 5 minutes early. I said, Leo, let me ask you a question. You like music? Yeah. He said, I love music. You go to concerts? Love concerts. When you go to a concert, do you show up when it starts? Well, no, I show up at least a half hour to an hour early. I said, why do you do that?
Interesting object lesson.
And he said, shit. So he just looked at me.
So now he understands.
I said, Leo, if you ever wanted to work for me and you show up at 8:00 and you start at 8, I wouldn't let you in. Well, I wouldn't let you start.
Agree.
You're out.
I agree. Man. And the trick is at 8:00, you're at the register.
Right. So this whole etiquette, professional etiquette, manners, and all this stuff that we're going to talk about today, I thought, man, how apropos that here's a kid that thinks he knows what's going on in the world, but really is clueless as to what the expectations are from ownership or management or business or just people in general, which is really what provoked this whole thought process that I kicked out.
Well, I think that perfect segue. Fabian's here. And are you still a Lululemon ambassador?
Oh, yes.
No, my picture got taken down a couple of years ago. But I'm trying to make my way back.
Oh, so this was a thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. So
I think it's smoke and mirror.
Years ago, I was talking to Fabian. He points out, he reminds me very diligently that he's a Lululemon ambassador, as all Lululemon ambassadors are supposed to do.
It's
They're
like
supposed to tell
CrossFit
you.
and vegans.
Yeah, you have to tell people. And then he offers me the opportunity to try on his jacket, which was beautiful, by the way.
We're talking about the brown one?
It's like a jacket.
It's like an overcoat style.
Oh, yeah.
Love that jacket.
And I should, it's important that I mention Lululemon, not a sponsor of the podcast. And so when you brought up the topic of etiquette, Michael, I was thinking Fabian's the perfect person to join this conversation because he's the least professional person I know.
Wait,
I love that.
No, you know me.
I like that toss up between he and Aaron. I'm sure Aaron's got to be into running.
Aaron's doing pretty well.
He's got to be.
I'm a little milquetoast. That's the problem.
No, Aaron's just boring.
Exactly.
Fabian's unprofessional. In fact, are you wearing shorts?
I am.
Yeah.
He is covering his toes, though. So it's
we
a
never
wash.
wear shorts. A dress code for our podcast is no shorts, no open-toed shoes.
Fabian looks like he's ready to go play pickleball, though.
Yeah.
I understood the assignment. I saw what we were talking about today. I said, let me dress in a way that I put myself out into the world to begin with.
Okay,
right? And so I am like the antithesis of the etiquette that we're talking about.
So just to be clear, you
didn't
and
brush his
Aaron
teeth.
Are saying that you dress to the podcast topic?
Yes.
I did today. Yeah. I thought it was
Just today.
Yeah.
Yes, for you permanently. I got it.
Just so happens to line up. I would dress like this every single day.
This is
I
pretty
do
much the
dress
only
like
way
this.
I've seen you, so
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Got it.
Typically,
I wore pants last time, actually.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Hey, can I just say that I was dressed like him before I changed into this?
So before we get off on too many tangents, Fabian, why don't you tell us what is your view on etiquette today? Let's starting with the idea of dress code. Like, how should people be dressing to be like basic professional?
That is a tough question. I don't know that I'm necessarily the person to give the best
really
advice
not a tough
to
question.
the thousands of listeners of this podcast.
That's
I would
exactly
just tell
why
you,
I asked
like,
you.
my own personal like outlook on the
I
situation.
can't wait to hear this.
Right. I work for myself. I don't work in an office. I don't want to work in an office. When I stopped working at a company, I donated all of the clothes that had anything to do with that. So I
Right.
don't even own it anymore. So if I wanted to dress up, I'd have to go buy something.
Because you just hated those fucking khakis.
I hated it all. Honestly, it was
He's like, those
uncomfortable.
pleats.
Yes.
Lululemon
And what it
ambassador. You never wore
represented.
khakis. Did you wear
I think
khakis?
it's all of it, right? But also, like, I want to live the life that like I left that job for, and that
Yeah.
means that athleisure. It's like I want
That's
to
your
be
jam.
comfortable. I want to be
Right.
able to, if I need to,
Well,
to hop into a
athleisure can
pickleball
still
game, if
be-
I want to go work out, like I don't need to change multiple times.
Athleisure can still be professional, though.
It can be not the way that I wear it.
No shit.
Right.
We see that. Clearly.
I rock a very short
Oh my
inseam
God.
belly shirt. I've got very hard set rules in terms of men in shorts. If it's going to
Hard
be
set rules.
100%.
I want to
right?
hear these.
So, A.
7 inches too long.
Yeah, how hard and how set?
What's the inseam on the shorts?
5.
Yeah.
5.
If it's longer than 5, you're fucked.
You better be over
turn
6
around
feet
and go
tall.
home. You might as well
7
put pants on.
7 is the norm.
If
5
you're
is
over
like
50,
a
yes.
running short.
No, he's right.
Yeah. I mean,
You're both
You
right.
got to throw off. You got to show off a little thigh. But this is just me. My personal
ahead.
opinion.
Yeah, keep going.
Right. So
As a brown
5
skinned
inch-
man.
Exactly. Whether they're like khaki shorts, athletic shorts, gym shorts, whatever
Right,
it is,
right.
5-inch inseam, anything longer than that,
Yeah.
you look like a dumbass. Like you look kind of
Okay.
dorky. Right.
Okay.
No offense to anybody in the room
And-
that wears
yeah.
7-inch
And by the way, in the
inseam shorts.
90s, we would have said something different. So go
Well,
ahead.
in the 90s, they would have been much longer than that.
I'm pretty
And
sure
then
I
in the
can
80s,
wear
it would have been much shorter
7 or
than that.
9 and still look pretty fucking good. But go on.
You got some long legs.
I do.
But it's also, I think it's generational, right? I think it's the
No,
age
it
group
is.
that you're
It
in.
is.
It's going to have very different values in
Mhm.
what that looks like. So I think
Okay.
that for the generation that I'm in,
So you got the
5-inch inseam is
5-inch
where it's at.
inseam.
You go longer than that, like
Yeah.
You got to have thick
Go home.
thighs, just thick.
you just got to have thighs, right?
THICC. I mean, I'm talking. But anyway, keep going.
This
Yeah,
is
so
great.
that's the thing on shorts. And then when it comes to shoes, like total faux pas, like no toes, keep your toes inside.
Right.
That would be okay if you had socks on. I think that
No,
at
that's even worse.
a point in time,
That's
But
even
listener,
worse.
he is
Actually, I
wearing
should have done
slides.
He is
Slides
wearing
and socks
slides.
is
Yeah.
100%
Literally
so
shower
you're
shoes.
saying slides are acceptable with socks
Yes.
versus without?
yes.
God
Slides and
almighty.
socks is 100% acceptable
Holy
these
This
days.
is the
hell.
generation difference.
That's what
here.
I'm telling
Yes.
you. So socks and slides, yes, that's
Okay.
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 So if there's a shoe that's completely off limits, if you wear it, no one's gonna like people
What's-
of the opposite sex or the same sex will never want to have sex with you, right?
Okay.
What's the is that the
Hey
slide?
dudes,
Oh, hey dudes. Yeah.
keep those off your feet.
I would have
Yeah.
to agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I
that,
agree.
that was actually we were in Palm Beach, and so I was there for Kristen's President's Club. We're at this very
By the
Nice
way, Kristen
resort.
is a very big time heavy
Yeah.
hitter.
she's a baller. So we're at this place called the Breakers.
Yeah. Oh, I know
very
the Breakers.
beautiful place.
Yes.
Having
Please
lunch.
tell me you dressed nicer
Of course not.
than
I'm wearing
this for the Breakers.
No,
Are
I'm
you
wearing.
shitting me seriously?
I'm wearing a Noble.
Oh, for God's sakes.
What do you call that?
Are
The
you
shirt, t-shirt with the
freaking
buttons.
Are you serious?
It's expensive stuff, but it's
A
like
Henley.
yeah, Henley, right? A nice white
Thank
Henley.
you.
It's crisp. It's white.
Yeah.
Some 5-inch inseam chubby shorts, right?
Okay.
And I've got some Birkenstocks on,
Yeah.
And you're at the Breakers.
and I'm at the Breakers. Yep. And
What-
so we're having lunch, and this gal is there kind of like showing us pictures of her, like these men that she's like talking to, right? And she
Yeah.
just wants general opinions. And the first guy that she pulls up has cargo shorts down to his knees, like a weird graphic T-shirt, and he's
Mhm.
wearing
You
Hey
had me at
Dudes.
cargo
And I
shorts.
started at the bottom, and I said, stop talking to this dude. The very first giveaway is his shoes. And she's like, what's wrong with the shoes?
Was he over 40?
No, this dude's probably
I'd say shorts were the first, but
right? Late 20s, mid 30s.
Yeah, his 20s is that's not acceptable.
That's where he stopped.
Right, so
hey
you stopped
dudes, boom,
yeah.
done.
So hey dudes,
But everything else was really
were-
bad.
Yeah. All right.
So-
Wow.
Next picture. Or is that the
Wow.
only picture?
This
No,
you
guy's
saw?
they were
crazy.
all like
Ugh.
similar versions of that.
Interesting.
I have so much to say on this, but I'll wait.
Well, I think that you should take the helm because you, Michael, are the kind of guy that's always wearing. I mean, like today, look at this crisp.
Yeah.
What brand is this shirt?
That's very nice.
Holderness and Born.
Holderness and Born, not a sponsor
You
of the
wouldn't know.
podcast.
Not a sponsor. They will never
Too
be a
expensive.
sponsor.
They don't
Too
need us.
expensive.
They don't need us at all.
I was taught early on that, especially in business, you never know when the next opportunity is going to knock on your door. And so, do you want to look like you just got out of bed, or do you want to look like you're somebody, right? And the somebody wasn't you had to be suited up, but somebody had to be. You had to look professional. You
Yeah.
didn't have to.
Respectable, even if it's like
you
off
could
the
have on
clock.
a pair of
Yeah.
jeans and a sweater, but dude, look sharp, man. Throw on some suede loafers, socks or no socks. I don't care about that today. I go both ways with that because it's fashionable, right? But at the end of the
You're
day,
bisexual.
I'm bisexual, baby. At the end of the day, though, you got to look like you belong, and if you want to play at that level, then you've got to show up like
I
that.
have a similar story. So when I was in a rock band,
Mm.
we were very intentional about building an image and building our fan base. And I think that's why we were as successful as we were, despite not being very good
Mm.
and not having any good songs.
Yeah.
And
Hey, but you
Yeah.
know better than anybody. Talent and success not correlated.
yeah, so
Not at all.
but what we did have is our performance was incredibly tight. Our songs were polished, right?
Yeah.
So if you listen to them today, you'd be like, okay, maybe that would have been okay back in that day. And our image was intentional. So one of the things that I've always been somewhat of a stylish guy, but one of the things that I established at that time in my life is we all agreed, and I think two of us cared more than the other two, but we all agreed that if we go to Kroger and you're picking up a jug of milk, you could run into someone who came to your show and then they're like, turns out he's just a regular guy.
Khakis and a polo.
And I always tell people, I
It's
am, I had people line up for hours to get my autograph. And I was like, listen, guys,
For hours?
that literally happened. It wasn't every show, but like
That's
occasionally
cool.
we would have a big show where
That's
there was
cool.
a lot of people there. And I said, listen, guys, I am just like you, except for I put my pants on 2 legs at a time. Because it's more efficient.
Well, because they're leather and you really have to lean
I'm just
into
like
it.
you. I'm
That's
a
right.
dad. I got 2 kids. I'm just
But-
like you, though. I'm a rock and roller.
Yeah, but we would dress in kind of a 2000s grunge rock style, but it was you had
It was
to
befitting
think
of
about
what
it
you
all the
did.
time.
Right.
And
A lot of accessories.
and ever
multiple
since then,
flannels.
I think I've been really conscious of the image that you're giving to someone
Same.
with the way you dress, which includes people like Fabian who say, this is the image I want to portray.
Right.
So when I started my marketing business, one of the things that I did is I said, I have to know people. So I started going to all kinds of events. I have to look professional. So or I put on a blazer. I said, but I also have to look creative.
Yep.
So
T-shirt.
I untucked my button down or wore a t-shirt. And I wore jeans.
And you need to look successful, so you started buying tailored shirts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I did actually
nice
get
watches.
a whole suite of tailored suits
The
and everything.
Caribbean tailor,
I
right?
remember that
Yeah.
guy that you introduced
So-
me to that did that for you.
At what point does that become the tech bro meme, right? Like you're
Right.
dressing the
When there's
part,
tech bro memes.
right?
Because this was back in like fucking
Pre-meme.
2008.
Yeah,
and there
this
were
is-
no memes. Twitter was brand new. And
this is back when I met you.
yeah.
I remember this. I remember the style.
But there was a point in time, and I always felt like I needed to project that I had some value to offer, right? So some professionalism. But there was a point in time where I realized I have already proven myself. So
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
the rules change. It doesn't. those rules don't go away. They adjust. Like the image is different today because the culture is changed and adjusted, and my tenure changes and those sorts of things.
I'm curious for the three of you. When Aaron, you brought it up, so let's stay with it. When you put on your tux, assuming it fits, right? But when you get dressed up, do you take on a different persona? Do you feel that when you?
I feel better. Yeah, the answer, or at least my answer to that question, is always contextual. And honestly, the person who's influenced me the most was you, Michael. He pointing because there's not cameras.
I remember this conversation we had.
My being active, getting hot in the summers.
Yeah.
My uniform, of which I have multiple shirts and pants that are identical, is cool. The technical shirt, the cool. Stretch pants. They serve a purpose. But I've always dressed to my environment. And so when I'm dealing with corporations, I actually like suits because I'm a uniform guy. I wish the silver jumpsuit thing would come in style and I could just wear that.
Will you suit up with the new thing that you haven't shared with everyone yet? Our listeners?
With the new gig that
the new gig. Will you suit up for that?
I would say the answer is probably a clear no on that from what I understand.
So the answer is probably no, and my impression right now is
it's just a new client that's a big project.
It's going to be a jeans polo blazer probably.
Got it.
Is the environment. But to your point, if I'm going into a creative firm, it's going to be a expensive jacket with a t-shirt and some tight pants. It's
very inexpensive, t-shirt.
It's all chameleon
on the tight pants.
It's all chameleon stuff, right?
Baby is like, yeah.
So for example, I work with a spa manufacturer and I wear khakis and a polo because that's their culture.
I've never seen khakis.
So you adjust to the culture.
Yeah. I dress for the environment to fit in.
You know what I do is
but I'm not a creative, so I don't have to stand out.
Stay with my question though. The question was when you dress up, do you take on a different persona?
I feel better in a suit.
Clearly does.
So I totally agree with that because I feel like the way you dress can bring ill or positive to your results. Yeah. And it's because of mindset. Actors will always tell you that they're better able to become their character when they have all the makeup on, right? Or the costume or whatever. And so for me, I during COVID, I had a completely relaxing year because 2019 was probably one of the hardest years of my professional life. And after that, I realized I needed to stop trying to prove something. And I needed to better allocate my brain power. And so I basically went to a black or blue jeans and black t-shirt and wear the same fucking thing every day.
Thank you, Silicon Valley.
Pretty much.
But one of the things that I can say about it is that in my profession, obviously that's accepted. And it also does play to what you're asking, which is when I walk into a room full of suits, they know who I am to them. Right. I'm the one that's going to bring innovation, new thinking, strategic, ideas to move forward with.
Your Axe, I'm billionaire.
Exactly.
Right. Your Axe. You walk in with Axe walks in with a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. Everywhere he goes, he's a billionaire. And everyone knows it, and they look at him and they're like, I want to be like him.
Mark Cuban talks about that status thing of when you walk into a room full of people, like in a corporation, look for the worst dressed person because that's who's in charge. And in his case, he would wear jerseys, shorts, flip-flops.
He talks about this.
But he'd wear like a $3 million watch. Just in case anybody was going to judge him.
Right.
He wanted to make sure they judged him right.
Yeah.
Fabian, do you take on a different persona when you put on, like the Breakers is a bad example.
Do you feel the need to?
Because I do.
The right example.
It is. And so there's like 2 times a year where I really dress up. So like one of them will be her holiday party, which they fly everybody out to Boston. I buy a new suit. Yeah. I buy a new suit every year. just because I want to look.
So how many
really
new
good.
suits do you have in the closet right now? 6, 7, 8?
Something like that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've worn a couple like a few times, but somewhere around there.
it's
Yeah.
Oh, yours is like an event gown.
Yeah.
So
Like I'm not
And
wearing
then
that
suits,
twice.
just to clarify though, are your suits athleisure suits or are they suits? Like the
What do you
I mean, they're
wool-
traditional. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Although I've got
We'll come back to
one Lululemon jacket that I wear that's
Yeah.
like not part of a suit,
Yeah.
and that like I'll wear that to the breakers. It's like because you go out to like dinners and stuff, and you want to
Yeah.
be dressed up. Like
Yeah, you
daytime
want-
and nighttime is like two totally different vibes. Like
for sure.
but yeah. So
Got it.
I do, and it does make you feel better, right?
Right.
Like look good, play
You feel-
good,
yeah,
right?
you
You know
feel
what
sharp.
I mean?
I
You
totally
feel
Look
good.
sharp.
I also think that it's empowering. Clothing can be empowering. So I think that, my oldest daughter who lives in England, she's very stylish and she's very creative, but in ways that sometimes are like she's hunting out, the thing that she's looking for because she loves thrifting and stuff like that. So she gets all this stuff that's really cool and creative, but then it's like, it's either a low quality thing with a high quality thing because that's the way you were able to put the outfit together or whatever.
Right.
And
I'm
think
a big fan of that, by the way.
I'm all for it.
I really am.
But what I think is that if you just have some staples that
Mhm.
really pull your outfit together,
for sure.
like a killer pair of jeans that fits exactly the way you like your jeans to fit, and like
Aaron
some
likes them
killer
tight.
t-shirts or whatever, then you can add all kinds of stuff to it. Or like in your case, you've got, an excellent pair of slacks. Boom. You know what polo size, you know what brands you like, you
Right.
know, you have a wide variety of colors, but there's a predetermined staple that you can pull from.
Sure.
And then if you want to go to a formal event, you throw on a jacket, or
Right.
you get that similar brand button down or
You
whatever.
have, you have an event outfit.
It's called a capsule wardrobe.
Yes,
I think is what they're
which I'm
referring
a
to.
big
wardrobe.
fan of.
Yeah.
Tell me about this. Somebody who knows.
So it's just a capsule wardrobe is just something like you said, you've got staple pieces that can be remixed and
Mhm.
rearranged with the other things that are in
Yeah.
there, and nothing's like, I don't know. It's all about simplifying,
Yeah.
but being able to mix and match
Yep.
all the pieces
Mhm.
within that capsule.
Usually minimalist,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
also covering those.
Yeah.
Michael, I've always, because I admire your sort of, I think of it as C-suite golf attire.
No,
Yeah.
it is.
It
Yeah.
is because
100%.
it's athleisure.
It
you get the
is.
flexibility, you get the wicking,
Yes.
but you have the
yes.
quality that
Yes.
puts you in that position. When I heard you say athleisure suit, I need to follow up with you on that. I would love to wear a suit as a uniform in my day-to-day life.
There's a company I'm going to plug for you.
Okay.
Or plug for them, and we don't get paid for it. It's
Not a
Sensi,
sponsor?
SENSE.
Is that the one with the
Sensi.
perforations in it?
No, their material is
SENSE. So sense.
Sensi. I say Sense-E. Hardy. I think that's how they pronounce it.
Interesting.
But they make everything from tuxedos to suits to three-piece suits. But the material is what we're all accustomed to today. It's the soft, pliable, non-shoulder binding. And I've got a couple other pieces. And dude, I'm telling you, it is, Aaron, you're going to love it. It's non-restricting.
Well, I learned about it. FBI wears a version of that.
Yeah.
So that they can be professional and ready to go.
Well, so they can like
Ready to
tackle
pounce.
somebody without tearing out their
the
jacket.
Lululemon suit. That's how I like to
Yeah.
describe
Yeah,
it to
yeah,
people.
yeah.
And
So if you're
that
familiar with
strikes
the
me
pants
as
and
it's the
shirts-
appropriate status. It has the
Yeah.
functionality,
Yeah.
and I can stick. I just want a uniform.
Right,
I don't
right.
enjoy
I totally get
dressing.
it.
I'm
I get
obviously not good at it.
Yeah, I get it. I want to say one more thing about apparel. Kevin Dolan, friend of the podcast, my financial guy, years ago, and I mean years ago,
It's
it's
not
got to
bad.
go back 10 years ago. I was going to introduce him to somebody, and I didn't do it. And I wouldn't do it. And I gave him a hard time about it. And I was being serious with him. I said, dude, you're my finance guy. You got to look razor sharp, and you've got to be sharp.
I want to see a bow tie.
So you got to dress sharp. Your hair's got to be sharp. Everything's got to be sharp. And I said, you're the finance guy. So when I introduce you, I want you to come across. I want you representing me the way I see you.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got in this big conversation, and I'll be damned if he didn't take me up on it. And I would say 95% of the time, KD comes in razor sharp, looking sharp, right? So I think there's a perception that exists with specifically with finance people, that if you're going to come in and sit down, if you're going to be in cargo shorts and flip flops and a t-shirt because you're that guy, you're not my guy. I don't want to do business with you.
So, but did you meet him when he was dressed to the nines, or?
Yes, I did. I met him professionally and he was suited up.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Well, that ruins my theory.
I was about to criticize.
No, he really did.
What I was going to say is, like, and of course, I don't know him as well as you do, but I've met him. He's a great guy. You can tell that he's incredibly smart, understands finance, understands business, and that there's a point in time where to not try to prove something is the advantage.
No, I would agree with that.
That is the proof.
Some of my friends that they don't talk about their money, but they're incredibly well off. So when they've wanted to meet with Kevin, we've had to have the conversation. Hey man, you can't do this. You can't come the way you want to come to this meeting. You can, but you're not going to get
with
it.
The money?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want.
No,
the wealthiest people I know shop at Costco. It's why I don't understand it. Not their wives.
No, when it comes to shopping for a finance guy.
Oh, you're saying Kevin needs to. Oh, yes, I agree.
Yeah, so they're meeting Kevin because they're shopping their finance guy. They want to make a change. So we've had that big conversation. And
but he would look like a different guy. Because every time I've seen him, and I ran into him at the farmer's market not too long ago.
Because he lives right there.
It's open-toed shoe, like he has like these
Huaraches.
Open-toed huaraches.
Yeah, they look not
and
great.
He's got the freaking bracelet city on his wrist. Yeah.
So I get it. You smoke weed.
Yeah. So I want to ask you guys a question.
Can I throw one more thing in?
Yeah, go for it.
When Lori was involved with B&I, maybe Rainmakers, a guy by the name of Todd Muffley. Do you guys know him?
Yeah, I know the name.
So Todd's been around. Yeah. He's a super good dude. I think his business was Plan B marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I got to have Plan B. I'll never forget this. I brought him in to meet somebody, and he was in fucking hiking boots, jeans, and a t-shirt. And this is a big deal, right? And I'm bringing him in, and he's like, "I got this." I'm like, "I don't think you do." And he said, "No,
that doesn't say creative, though."
And you know what he said? He said, "I dress this way because I can. And I went into business for myself because this is what I want in my life." You know what? My friend looked at him and said, "Good for you. Get the fuck out." Good. Hey, that's great for you, but that's not what I want. And I'm the customer, and this is what I'm looking for. And I was like, yeah, shit.
I think what's reasonable about that, though, about Todd's point of view, is that
I respect him for it.
He may have felt right or wrong in that moment. But ultimately, he dresses, I'm talking about him and people like him, dress the way that they want to dress.
And
because that's what they want, the life that is attracted to that.
Yeah, right? No, I get that.
So that means that you're not going to get the client that's concerned about your image. You are going to get the client that's like, you focus on the strategy or whatever.
Well, this is going to get us to our next topic, which is manners. Yeah. And I think there's a dumbing down in our society when it comes to etiquette, manners, dressing, etc. If you want, and everyone wants the next great client or the next big thing in your business, and everyone that I know that's in business really strives for that or wants that, I got news for you. You're not getting that the way you are. You've got to go one level up or two levels up to go capture that. And that could be in your dress code. That could be in your manners. It could be in your professionalism. It could be who you align yourself with to go chase that.
Your preparation for that conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You don't get there by being where you are today. You've got to up your game. And Daniel, you're great at this because you teach companies and people how to up their game to get to that next level, right? And it's not just this. Mm-hmm. There's more to it than that. Can you share that?
Let me talk about the way that I approach a first meeting with a client. So somebody may have introduced me to this client and they say, "Hey, I want to talk to you, or I want to tell you what to expect. Let me tell you the background on this person. And if I don't feel like it's insulting to say so, I will say, no, thank you. I don't need to know anything."
Right.
Because when I go into that meeting, I want to go in totally curious. because that's where I'm going to get the best information. It's their version of what you're trying to tell me right now. Yeah. I don't need to know that ahead of time, other than that they're willing to have a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go in there trying to be as unprepared as possible. But then the next meeting, I try to go to essentially show them the opposite side of that preparation, to say, I listened to you.
Yeah.
And we've got a plan.
Right.
And it's and oftentimes, because I've practiced this and started to get good at it, just at least finally recently, people are like, shocked that I remembered that thing that they said, but it's because, I've spent my entire last 25 years just learning that.
So 2 questions with that. One, if you would take a minute to talk about the work you do for the people who aren't regular listeners. I don't know that matters, because the approach that I hear, which I agree with, is discovery and then presentation. With that process, and I'm thinking about the picture of the plane with all the holes in the wings, right? Because those are the ones that made it back. Does that process get you that second meeting 100% of the time? Or are you losing that presentation opportunity by not being prepared in the beginning? Yeah. I don't have an opinion on that. Yeah. That's just what popped into my head.
Yeah. I would imagine that I'm losing some opportunities.
But are those, so I want to interject. Because I've used you with clients, you may not be as prepared as what you just suggested, but you're prepared. You're prepared
because I've been doing the same thing
certainly
for a long time.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So when I introduce you to someone for the first time, and you want to be inquisitive and curious, as you described, which I think is awesome, you've never come off aloof or indifferent or unprofessional.
Right.
You've always come across as someone who, in my opinion, who knows what you're talking about.
Right.
But you really want to understand who these people are,
right,
to figure out if you can even help them.
So I have the benefit of having worked as an employee, but also as a consultant in multiple businesses. And so a lot of times when people come to me, I'm a brand strategist, for those that don't know. When people come to me, they're looking for some kind of solution around sales, marketing, or generating revenue.
Yeah.
And when that happens, they're coming with a certain set of assumptions. Often one of those assumptions is that their business is unique, or at least their industry is unique.
Yeah.
But there's only so many types of, formats that a business can take on, save for all the little finer details. And so because I've worked with so many businesses, and specifically worked in business, like I sold security systems, I sold insurance, I traded commodity metals and did logistics.
Whoa, metals. Silver, gold, uranium, plutonium. What kind of metals, Daniel?
Aluminum, copper, manganese, like things that are like
nothing of.
Yeah, just
like were you robbing abandoned houses?
Yeah, I mean that's how I got started.
Yeah, so you weren't like you weren't selling the good stuff for secondhand markets.
No, unfortunately, no. I didn't work in New York either.
Yeah, I got it. Sorry.
Well, and Daniel, one of the things that I know about you and your proficiency is that you don't need to have a conversation about how to do your work.
Right.
The conversation, the sales process for you, I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong, is, can we work together? Mm-hmm. Do you have a problem I can help you with? And am I willing to help you with that problem?
Yeah, do I want to work with you?
That's what's happening. What we're going to do, don't worry about it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, I don't need my plumber to explain to me how everything works. The only question is, are you going to be the guy that fixes it? Or am I going to find somebody else?
That's their question. But my question is, since we're talking about etiquette,
I know your question.
My question is, what hurts for you?
Yeah.
Because if I don't understand what bothers you, what's concerning you, then anything that I'm selling, and this is the true for all of us, doesn't matter.
Yep.
And so I already know that I'm good at what I do,
and
then I'm going to get a few clients.
For?
Right. I know I'm going to get some clients. I know I'm going to make a living. What I need to know is what's bothering you. And if you really feel heard by somebody, that's the person you're going to hire.
Yeah.
So hopefully I have a good hit rate. I'm at least been able to pay my bills.
Let's talk about manners in that type of scenario, because that's today's topic, right? It's what's going on with our society with manners. You're not coming, I'm speaking for you for a quick second. You don't come across as arrogant or conceited when you have that conversation, because that's not who you are. But you have been around others that have done that.
Mm-hmm.
And so how do you interpret and how do you use manners in your professional career today? And then I want to ask all three of you, because you all have children, what are you teaching your kids today and how have they learned from that?
I really hope to see people learn how to write a goddamn email.
That's a whole different episode.
Holy, grammatically speaking, that's a lost art, man. People don't know
I'm
how to
telling
type
you, I was
right.
homeschooled.
Holy shit.
I was educated poorly. And one of the things that I remember learning is the structure of a letter.
Pronouns, nouns, adverbs, verbs, adjectives.
We're talking
introduction,
about
thesis.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Conclusions.
You've got a salutation at the end. You've got a introduction at the beginning.
The body.
And so basically, you today people don't know how to write emails.
They email like they text.
And so, exactly. It's become so casual, and sometimes people sound terse just because they're not taking a moment to think, how do I communicate in writing?
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen in person so much, because listen, if you go to coffee with someone, the first 20 minutes for that coffee meeting is just chit chat.
Yeah.
Right. So
affiliation.
Unless you're with Fabian.
Affinity.
So Fabian's going to be talking pickleball in the first 20 minutes.
That's perfect.
That is his chit chat.
You're warming up the conversation.
Right.
So in an email or letter or whatever, you should be able to understand that you can't just have one sentence as if it's the middle of the conversation. But so here's what people are doing. Let me tell you what people are doing. They're using AI. They're using AI to write their emails.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're using AI to read their emails, which means that nobody's actually reading or writing these emails anyway. So maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I'm just wasting my time.
I can tell when they're using AI to write emails, because it's 100% not their voice.
Yeah.
It's so fake and phony. It's
lots of M dashes.
You can't talk that way. You can't write that way. There's no way this is you. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And your emails are incredible, by the way.
Oh, Daniel's are awesome.
Yes. The number of introduction emails that you've written, I'm just like literally laughing.
Yeah. He's good at it. He really is.
So those are really great.
Sometimes I get in a mood and I'm like, I need to introduce these motherfuckers like it's the best introduction they've ever gotten.
Yeah, like you need to make a baby.
I could jump through a wall after you introduce me. Like, hey, what's up? I'm here.
It's like, and you feel like you got to respond quickly, right? It's like,
well, you do.
Shit, he just made it. Hey, Fabian, it's really nice to meet you. I see Daniel introduced us.
Yeah, who doesn't have immediate access to their communication? It's one thing I explained to my wife. I'm like, hey, they know you're holding your phone.
Yeah, I know.
So you deciding like, I'm going to get back to you tomorrow.
And I want to be that guy.
Is a passive way to say, fuck you.
I want to be that guy that so desperately says, I don't really look at it that often. Right now it's off. I mean, it's literally off.
Your phone's off?
Turned off.
Wow, that's the creepiest thing I've ever heard.
That is why I switched to a watch for that very reason, is so I could leave the house without a phone.
Yeah.
So that I wouldn't be constantly
you say that every week.
All right. So Fabian, let's hear. I want to come back to you on manners professionally in a second, but I want to hear Fabian and Aaron talk about how you're raising children or teaching your family the proper etiquette or the proper manners or whatever that means to you as a family today.
Yeah. So I'll get there, but I do want to come back to a thing. And I think it is so much generational, just in terms of etiquette.
It is.
Manners,
professionalism. Young people are shitty.
Yeah.
And to an extent, yeah. And just dress.
Just so we know, what generation are you in? What year were you born?
I'm a millennial. Right? Some 40. I was born in 84.
Okay. 40.
So you're
I
not
didn't
lost
realize
cause.
millennials are 40 now.
Yeah, he's not a lost cause.
See, because well, hang on. I'm an X and I'm 49.
Yeah.
Millennials are okay.
Yeah. I'm a geriatric millennial.
What happened to Ys and Zs?
Well,
we're
we can explain it to you
So
later.
let's go back to the topic.
So I just think like I look at some of my own experience selling high-end vehicles, right? Like when I was selling Mercedes, you can either be the very professional, buttoned up to the nines and run your business that way.
Yep.
Or you could be laid back, non-salesy, and connect with people. And that's always how I've appreciated people selling me and my business relationships.
Sure.
And so I present myself and act in a way that like I want to interact with other people, right? So like to your point of your finance guy being dressed to the nines, to me, that would turn me off. I'd be like, that's not the person for me. I want somebody that's relaxed, that's going to talk to me on the same level as me, not try to like, and I'm not associating the way that they're dressed with the way that they're going to talk to me.
He's got that guy for the guys that have less than $1 million. Yeah. But the guys that got 20 to 50 million bucks.
But still, there are people my age that have that amount of money that do not want to be talked to in a way or like around 100%. People that are that stuffy, right?
But my guys are 60 years old.
And that's where I'm going with. Like it's generational.
I'm trying to prove your point.
I think every answer is going to vary. And so like when it comes to etiquette, and my wife hates this about me, but it's just part of my sales process. I can't wait to drop the first shit, fuck, ass, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Because to me, that just like puts us all on the same level.
People
yes.
Out. Yeah. It really does.
You really see it change in their face and like, okay, this guy gets it. I can be myself. Right.
Yeah,
and that's where I want to get to.
Yeah.
Right. Like I want people to buy or work with me because they like me.
Do you feel
right? And there's a deeper relationship that makes it stickier, that it's harder to get rid of Fabian because we really like working with Fabian.
Do you feel like you have to do that though to find that common ground? In other words, what you just described is what I would call a dumbing down of manners to find that common ground.
But that's how I talk, right? No, so like, I don't want
fair.
3 weeks into the relationship, why is this guy so vulgar? Or why is he always saying shit? Like, that's like when I'm with friends and when we're talking, we're just jiving, like, that's how I'm going to be. And I don't want to have to like put on this thing to get the business. Yeah. It's just like,
I get it.
Like, I'm not trying to catfish anybody, right? Like, I am who I am, and it's either going to work or it's not.
Right. That's right.
So I remember this has got to be 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago. My father, who I'm very close to, I refer to him as the old man with loving endearment. And so I call him the old man. The old man and I are out on the golf course, and I lost my shit. I was frustrated. I was angry. I don't know what had come over me.
About golf?
It was probably more than golf. It was
during golf.
Yeah, it was during golf, but it was so much, there was so much going on at that time. And I can't even recall all of it, but I remember him. He didn't say anything. I know I acted like a child, an ass or whatever. And afterwards, we're grabbing a beer, and he looked at me and he said something that has stuck with me ever since. He said, you know, you have something I don't have. I said, what in the hell are you talking about? He said, you have a college education. I said, I don't have that. He said, and with a college education, I'd like to think comes with a higher vocabulary. You don't need to use those words. You can use better words, or you have access to better words, Michael, because of what was provided to you.
Yeah.
I just, man, that never, and so jokingly and teasingly, guys will get on me about, you don't swear a lot, or I did today, or you don't do this, or you don't do that. And it's because that's in my head, and that'll never leave me, good or bad.
Yeah.
And it's resonated with me, and I'll never forget this. So that lesson is taught to me. And then you fast forward maybe 10 or 15 years ago, Kevin Dolan, a good friend of his, is out on the golf course with me, and his friend looks at me and he says, hey man, you don't swear on the golf course. Are you one of those goody two-shoes? Are you one of those religious people? Or what's your deal? And I'm like, no, that's not it. And I shared with him this story. And then just a handful of years ago, Kevin looked at me and said, you changed his life. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He says, he doesn't swear anymore because of the conversation you had with him. Like, that was not the intention. He said, I don't care what the intention was. I'm telling you
that's what
story shared stuck with him. It's like, wow, okay.
So you almost said shit when you said that.
No, I did not.
So you know.
But
the old man would be so disappointed.
Yeah, the old man, and he listens to the podcast, I'll get a kick out of this when he hears it. So that's what I mean about, I get we all want to connect on our level, right? But I don't know if, I feel like because of that, we have really dumbed down the process, or we've diluted the process to try to find that commonality. Whereas I really wonder, do we need to do that? Like Fabian, I don't know you well, but I like you, right? And I don't, whether you drop F-bombs or not, I don't care. I just met you, and you get a vibe, right? When you meet people. And those are the vibes I look for. Not so much about your style or your platform, because I may not agree with any of it, but I genuinely like you. That doesn't mean we have to agree on politics or family structures, or just means, dude, you're a good person.
Let me just point something out. So according to the American Psychological Association,
APA,
also known as the APA. Thank you, Aaron. And
I'm familiar, used to be a member.
Should point out that they're not a sponsor of the podcast, although they don't have the funding for that, just to be clear.
Right. Anymore is right. That's gone.
Right. Swearing is positively correlated with intelligence, verbal fluency, and creativity. So so I totally agree with both of these point of views. We've got Michael on the not to point to you, but older generation.
Right.
And then Fabian on the younger generation, being the oldest and youngest in this room. And I'm in the middle and grew up in an environment where people that I was around, my parents, said the exact same thing. They said, it sounds uneducated when you use bad language and all this stuff. And it doesn't reflect well on you. But also something that I've learned mostly through experience rather than being taught by somebody is that exactly what you described, Fabian, when you, not to say that this is the leading strategy, but when you drop an F-bomb in a professional meeting in a way that lands well, like you got to be good at it.
100%.
You got to be good at it.
Yeah.
But if you do that, suddenly everybody's like, I feel safe here.
Yes. I
feel safe here. Now, some people will feel different than that, and that's understandable too.
True.
But for the most part, it just creates this level of we are all humans and we're prepared to be humans together.
Yeah. I think the F-bomb can set the tone one way or the other. You
Yeah,
can go good or bad, right? I mean, just genuinely.
That's where you got to be. Right. You got to have discernment on when to do what.
Right. And I think that was the old man's point. Like, read the audience, just don't use it. Like, who cares? Like, there's got to be a different word you can use. That was his whole point to me. And that conversation didn't stop that day. I mean, that was an evolutional conversation that continued on for years, because I shared the same industry as he did. So I ran in the same circles with him, or I would be loosely associated with his colleagues and or his suppliers. And so I became a direct derivative of him in more ways than I could even imagine. And then I realized I wanted not only to represent, but I wanted to represent the family, the name, not just the person. So it took on a higher meaning.
Name.
Yeah, it took on a higher meaning, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's why I'm so curious about children and what you're doing there.
I will tell you that the most important thing that we do is model the behavior that they want. We want them to act out in the world, right? So like my wife and I never raise our voice to each other.
Ever?
Not when they're around, not when they can see it.
Dude,
and really
that's impressive.
Ever to each other. It's just not the way that we talk to one another.
That's impressive.
I went to military school, so like manners were really drilled into me. So I say yes, sir, no, ma'am, yes, please, thank you.
So you know them.
Oh yeah.
And you can use them if you want to.
100%. And so when we're out and we're interacting with people that are service providers, whether that's at a restaurant or at wherever we're at, we're using those type of words, right?
Anything you want to keep.
I have taken them to a dive bar.
So the kids are seeing it
exactly, right? Yeah. And like we can tell them as many times as until our heads fall off. It's like say please, right? But if they don't see you doing it, they're never going to do it themselves. Right. So we are very intentional of how we talk to each other in front of those kids and how we act in the world. And it's not anything different than what we would do otherwise. It's not like we're putting it on when they're there versus when they're not there.
Now that's a responsibility that is 100%. Much bigger consequences.
Yeah. And so outside of just like the constant reminders of if they're asking us for something and they're just demanding it and us not giving it to them and say, no, like ask again and say, please. The step further than that is just like being intentional about the way that you talk and the way that you act to make sure that they see that, because they are sponges at this age and they're going to mirror what they see at home. And you see that in the way that other kids act.
Yeah, that's super cool.
What about you, Aaron, with your kids?
Yeah. So kind of a similar approach. I wanted to actually mention that. So the studies around the swearing, much like studies around men's status and preference of breast size, often get sort of misread. So the thing about the swearing
I like
is
all breast size, just to be clear here. So I can't wait to hear where this is going.
People who occasionally swear are seen as more intelligent. People who have a habit of swearing are seen as much less intelligent. And that more intelligent thing, like he was saying, very generational. Right. X and down sees it as, or I guess, X age and down sees it as an authenticity thing, which is more important than tradition.
Right.
People over 60, boomers and up see it as a courtesy, social etiquette thing. And it's a violation of that, which means you're a bad person. The comment to breast size was they say higher status men like smaller breasts, lower status, socioeconomic, like bigger breasts. Turns out everybody likes big breasts.
Everyone likes breasts. Period.
No, it's big breasts. It's just that poor men like even bigger breasts. But it's nuanced. And to Fabian's point, the modeling thing is something that I was turned on to really early. We do talk to our kids. Occurred to me as you were saying, I've never raised my voice to my wife. We've never had a fight.
Yes, got it.
We do disagree and we're careful not to contradict each other. In front of them, we will go like, hey, I don't like that. And here's why. And she'll be like, hey, if you want to be responsible for it, go ahead.
Yeah.
We do let the boys swear. There's no rules in home. The only thing is you can't be disrespectful.
Yeah.
The only time I've struck my youngest son was the second time he called his mom a bitch.
Whoa.
Yeah. He was 5. He was 5.
He called.
Well, because he started like trying out curse words. And I said, here's the deal. If you're home and we don't have company, you can say whatever you want. Because I don't want cursing to be magical.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I want them to burn it out.
Yeah.
Our oldest is very good. He knows he has very good timing. It's rare, but he'll drop it in and we will be cackling, laughing about it. But the youngest is trying it out and he says something to his mom and calls her a bitch. And I turned to him, I said, you don't talk to my wife that way.
Yeah. And
if you say that again, I'm going to slap you in the mouth. And he likes to puff back.
Yeah.
And so he thought it was funny and he called her a bitch and I slapped him.
Yeah.
It's the only time I've hit him, and God, it felt so good.
Now you're facing criminal charges.
I'm just waiting for him to call her a bitch again. But the modeling the behavior and also teaching them that you decide how people treat you.
Yeah.
You don't have to accept poor treatment. You can correct people when they treat you inappropriately.
Yeah.
And they're, one's 6 and he's barely a person, and the 11-year-old is a very soft, thoughtful person.
Yeah.
So we've not had
actually soft, thoughtful was my nickname in high school.
Was it?
Yeah.
Just soft. So he's very considerate.
Okay.
He asks, but one of the things that I've done, to your point, I've taught him how to introduce himself to somebody.
Yeah.
You ask them their name.
Yes.
You repeat it. You tell them yours and you offer them their hand or your hand and you shake it.
Yeah.
And the reason is like 5 years ago, somebody introduced me to their son and he did that very thing to me, looked me in the eye and said, nice to meet you. Shook my hand. Told his dad, I'm like, let me know when he wants a job.
Dude, I'm
hiring him right away.
Seriously. I meet these young kids today, and I say kids, every ages, say 9 to 15, 9 to 16. And they're friends of friends, and they've been raised in what I would call a two-parent family or a two-parent home with structure, with discipline.
How do you determine to call them? How do you determine to call it a two-parent home?
They're not divorced.
Parents are together.
Married and they're together.
Okay.
So
a home that has 2 parents, that's a two-parent home.
Yeah, but it could be.
Yeah, the parents
divorcees, right, that are remarried, and that is not
2 or more parents is what every kid needs.
Yeah. So just to be clear, married, 2 parents living at home.
I got it.
And these kids walk up and they do the same thing, Aaron. They put out their hand and they'll say, Mr. Douglas, it's nice to meet you. And my name's incredibly difficult to say. So the fact that they get it right. So they get
it's just
right,
like the meat.
Right. Salami. Those kids more often than not get it right. And I am blown away. So not only am I blown away by it, now I want to know more. So now I'm engaged with them. I'm like, nice to meet you too.
Yeah. So I assume homeschooled or high-end private school?
Neither.
Okay.
Public schools for the most part, for the kids I'm referring to. But my point is, because they show that manner or that etiquette, it engages me. It makes
you
me
instantly
want to,
give them
yes,
favor.
Yes. And I want to know, how did they get my name right? So now I'm like, who taught you my last name? They're like, what are you talking about? Like, did your dad? Did your mom? No, that's just how I thought you say. Or no, yeah, my mom did. Or no, my dad did. And now I'm having a conversation with this kid, this child.
Yeah, which you normally can't have conversations with children.
At all.
And you certainly can't touch them.
So I came back. So Brian Sullivan, who you know well, his nephew was on the golf course with us. He's a junior at Cathedral, I believe. Runs cross country. He's taking up golf. We're on the golf course. It's Mr. this, Mr. that. This kid is the most. I looked at Brian and said, I'll take him now. I can put that kid to work right now and we'll have success. And this kid has figured it out, right? He's had great parents that have taught him. Now, whether he wants to use that or not, it's up to him, but he has shown thus far he wants to use what's been taught to him. He's 90% ahead of the curve. I used to be told that if you want to do well in your professional career, just show up. You beat 50% of the people. You want to beat the other 50%?
Unfortunately, that's true.
Well, it is true.
Showing up that 15 minutes earlier, like you said earlier.
Show up, be there, and then
know what you're there for. Like, just be prepared enough to work.
And this kid's figured that out. He can ride his ticket wherever he wants to go. And I am more than impressed with him. I came home and talked to Lori about it. I mean, how many times do you come home, you meet a kid that's 16 years old or 17 years old?
Right. It's got to be remarkable.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you guys about another thing. So just to pivot in our topic here.
Please.
So we've talked about manners, etiquette as it relates to clothing, as it relates to how you relate to people, use language, that kind of thing. But what about what we see and I'm sorry to bring this up, but what we see in the public sphere is anything but what we're describing, with the exception of they all wear suits for the most part.
Right.
So, if you go to any office, everybody's dressed casual, but they're more polite.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at Congress or the White House, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
They're dressed in suits, but they're jackasses.
Yes.
So, and what I want to ask about this, and I know that everybody's going to, kind of interpret this through their lens of like what's important to them and what's important to them politically and that kind of thing. And that's not what I'm trying to get into, but like, does manners and etiquette matter in the public sphere? And I see your hand, Aaron. So would you take this one?
Well, I want to open it only because it was a point from the previous issue, but it's perfect for this. So there's a book I once gave to a friend who I'm sure never read it, called The Righteous Mind by Jonathan Haidt.
Okay. He did read it. I believe.
Not all of it. I think he skimmed it.
Well, that's fine. Just the fact that he took it was that was the gift.
That was the gift. The receiving.
So what it talks about is this focus on universal dimensions of morality and how they differ between people. And in its case, it was based on like liberal conservative spectrums. Setting that aside, it identified that there are this small set of universal dimensions of morality that all cultures have, but not everybody holds. And on one end, you have really fundamental, almost like childlike values of things like caring and fairness, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should be nice, you should share. And then the dimensions progress into things like integrity, sanctity, tradition, authority, right? You start moving into these broader esoteric concepts that like a child couldn't understand why sanctity and tradition are important, but somebody who's raised in the Catholic Church might intuitively recognize that, but not understand it until they're well into adulthood.
Right.
Like this is why we do that.
Right.
So to your point of, why are certain groups, especially public groups, I think one, there's a different recognition of value, because what that book pointed out is some people are unaware of other universal dimensions of morality. They may only be focused on what feels caring and fair.
I'm sure that's
and
true.
have no respect for integrity, authority, liberty, things that do matter very much to other people. And not that for those other people, caring and fairness matter less, but you have to balance it. So to answer your question about behavior and whatnot, I spent a lot of time, and did I mention I'm from Portland, Oregon?
Oh, that sounds familiar. I think you
So
might have brought
Is there
that up.
integrity in Portland, Oregon?
No, there is not
so.
at all. So it's a great example of the farthest in one direction, which is just, do I feel like that's fair to me? And if it's not, it's bad. And if it's anything else, I don't give a shit. People are very nice generally, but not polite. No manners, no conscientiousness, no consideration.
Yeah.
And then I spent a few years living in Washington, D.C. People are very polite. Manners, conscientiousness, courtesy, tradition, suits, all of that.
Yeah.
Meanest fucking people you'll ever meet.
Yeah. Cutthroat, but dressed nice.
Just they do
Fresh
not
shoe shine.
care or respect you, but they're going to behave appropriately.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So to your question about like when we talk about Congress, or you didn't say that specifically, but as an example,
Senate.
One, we're talking about a lot of East Coast elites, even though they may represent middle America. That's not where they were raised or went to school or whatever. It's a very different dynamic there. I'm going to do all the right things and I'm going to be vicious in how I accomplish my goals.
Yeah. When Lori and I lived, so I spent 13 years up and down the Eastern Seaboard, from Miami to Philly to New Jersey, New York.
Wow. Philly.
Yeah, Philly. And I remember, so Miami and Philly I met Lori when I was in Philadelphia, and she was living in Cleveland. And then she moved to New Jersey when we got engaged. And I took a job there. And I'll never forget this. She went to the ShopRite store, the grocery store. It's like the Marsh or Kroger here in Indianapolis. And there was no please and thank you. I mean, it was just grunts, right? And her first experience was, oh my God, what they say about the East Coast is true. Like there's no kindness, there's no niceness. It's partially true. Those niceties that are on the front side don't exist, but the kindness and the caring for one another does exist.
They'll help you shovel your car out.
They will,
and call you a shithead on the way.
You know what? That's what people
love for nothing, right? So you have to get past the pretense to find what it's really all about. And so for Lori, in the beginning, it was like, oh my God, but then it was like, oh my God.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about public life, Fabian. Politics.
Yeah, let's get back to that.
And that sort of thing. So people are jackasses.
Yeah.
How do you see the world as the millennial in the room? How do you see the world when you see the way people different than the way you raise your kids treat each other and treat people around them in the political space?
Yeah, I mean, you lose respect for people like that. I think there's the facade of having manners and being respectful. It's like you can see through that pretty easily. Like that comes out.
The facade of it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people live their life that way of just like, I want to present myself in a way that is like, I look the part.
Yeah.
I dress the part. And I want you to think that I am the part, but you're really not.
Yeah,
you're like
politician.
deep down, you're a piece of shit.
Right?
Right?
You're not suggesting that manners are that. You're saying you're talking about people who will present that part, but then not have call it integrity or quality underneath it.
Yeah, and I think like the elephant in the room, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
say it.
Geez. Look at someone like Donald Trump, right? Very successful in business, dresses the part. Absolute asshole.
Yeah.
Right. Like I want nothing to do with that person.
Right.
Just because of the way that he treats people, the way that he talks to people. It's just like, I would never associate myself with anybody like that in my life. Right. And so those are I think that's what you're trying to get at.
That's
like
exactly.
Those types of
wanted
people,
you to go that way.
And it's just like,
But I would also say, sorry to interrupt, but I would also say that there is, especially in your generation, which you're only 5 years younger than me, so we're close to the same age, but in basically the generation that I would be at the top end of or just outside of, there are an enormous number of men that are really into that are very inspired by that, take no prisoners, go straight for the jugular type politics. But then it's just, I know some of those people, but for the most part, what I hear from conservatives and liberals alike is stuff like what you're saying, which is, yeah, I wouldn't act that way, is the nicest thing they'll say.
Mm.
Or they'll go further and say, I don't want to have anything to do with that, like you said.
And yet we do have, well, the one I'm thinking of is no longer with us today. Congressmen and or senators that have served our country, that have fought in wars, that have spoken the truth, that have found the middle ground, who've been accused of not leaning hard enough on their party's side.
Yeah.
And that's a dying breed. Those types of individuals, I fear, we're not going to see many more of those in our lifetime.
Well, that's that sanctity dimension.
Yeah,
that is it. Like to your point, that is a conservative value.
Yeah.
And you don't see it as much in Republicans, because I don't believe Republicans are conservative. I don't think Democrats are liberal. Not anymore.
I don't either.
It doesn't map.
Yeah, right. You're right.
But that's part of that division is Republicans versus conservatives is kind of happening now. Which, by the way, let me add, if you're not following Gavin Newsom and his press room, he is trying to be Donald Trump.
I watched one yesterday.
And it is embarrassing.
Yeah, it is. It's not good.
Because that public persona of Trump, which is, I only say public because I hear from a lot of people who hate him. Bill Maher has been one of the more recent, who then go spend time and like, okay, this guy's completely different. The show is the show. And I guess maybe media people, TV people, entertainment people. I think they have a different perspective on like who you are in front of a camera doesn't count for who you are as a real person, which doesn't make sense to me.
It does make sense to me.
Well, yeah, no.
But I understand what you're saying. But
what you do is what matters. So to Fabian's point, like I'm going to judge you on what you do. I don't care if you're playing a role.
Right.
You're not in a movie. You're a president.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is why
I totally agree with the point that I think you're making. Go ahead.
So the point with Gavin Newsom and with some people in the Democratic Party is like they're trying to find what is that secret sauce that makes Trump appeal to, well, I mean, frankly, improved with everybody except I think single white women. But they're not getting it right because they think it's just being vulgar. Yeah. They think it's just being mean. I don't know what it is, but
he's got another set of talents that he's bringing into that it's harder to
Newsom or Trump.
Trump. It's harder to put your finger on what that is.
I don't know
but
what
I would call it swagger, just because it's a good
audacity
word.
For sure.
Humor. But he's bringing humor. Like at a certain point, it's humor.
Kind of
humor slash hubris.
That's on the surface, but there's something that he has this intuition that he is able to really connect with his audience really effectively while deploying all these different tools that include being like really friendly to you in person and really, accusatory and terrible against you on the internet.
Like public,
He just kind of has this intuition and knows how to do that,
which I can't wrap my head around.
But what I would say about Gavin Newsom, and I haven't watched enough to know this. I
just mean like his X feed and some of the podcast stuff.
He is trying to make fun of Trump. He's literally trying to mock Trump, copy Trump as satire, which I've never seen a politician do that before.
Well, I think they came up with that as it failed and they tried to like back out of it because he's still doing it and it's not satirical. He's really trying to swear. He's really trying to act like offensive and outraged, and it comes across as like a B-rate actor.
Okay.
So George Clooney was just interviewed recently based on his play.
I wonder what his opinion was.
Well, he's just finished up that play on Broadway.
And Mark Ruffalo while we're at it.
Yeah, Mark's been, wow. So
George was asked,
consistent. George was asked about Trumpism, and George was asked, do you think it'll continue in the aftermath? And he said, absolutely not. It never does. History's proven it doesn't. And he said, the thing about Trump is that people forget that he is a celebrity and he's an entertainer.
Yep.
And he said, he's a celebrity. He's got a star on the sidewalk. I, George Clooney, don't have a star on the sidewalk. And he's an entertainer. And I think it's so important, Daniel, because of what you just said. He knows how to cater to you right here, right now.
Yeah.
And as soon as you walk away, you're the dirtiest, low down, fill in the blank, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the switch. By the way, you buy stars on Hollywood Walk of Fame.
That's I'm sure he did.
No,
but George has.
No, everybody does. Well, you buy a star.
Okay, well,
George doesn't do it because George is like Obama level social tier, is he not?
You don't.
I have no idea if you buy a star.
There's got to be some other criteria other than you give the money.
I mean, you have
so I could have one if I gave enough money.
Well, you don't have an IMDb.
I could have one.
Yeah, you probably could. Yeah.
You probably do.
There is a petition. Like you have to have people
so there's
sign.
More than just the money.
But
it's just
you
at the end of the day,
get one if you don't pay for it.
Got it. It's kind of like the award for,
which is why you walk down. Which I'm sure you've been on it. You walk down and be like, I've never heard of half of these people.
What are we talking about? I want to go back to what Fabian said.
We're talking about fakeness.
I want to go back to what Fabian said about, or what you were trying to correlate with Fabian with younger generation. Our nephew got married last year. He's 30 years old. Andrew, if you're listening, God bless. Andrew's friends, not all, the majority of his friends in that age group are Trump fans.
Mm-hmm.
They're Trump fans for one really important reason. It's the voice that is no longer heard from them, right? It's their voice that they want to hear. And that is, I am still relevant. I am still a young white male in this country, and I am still relevant. I am not fill in the blank of all the other pieces.
I'm not the villain of everything. Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah,
and when Andrew shared that with Lori and I, we actually we fell back in our chairs a little bit.
Yeah.
It was like, oh shit.
One of the things that I would point out is that is the thing that Democrats are overlooking to their peril.
It's why they've lost
exactly
all of their audience.
I saw an interview with Gavin Newsom's doing this podcast where he brings in a lot of times it's people, politicians or activists from the right,
significant people,
and it was the Charlie Kirk episode, and it was like a little bit more than an hour conversation. Great conversation, very civil. Nice, good points from both sides involved in the conversation. He did swear several times in a way that sounded natural.
He is a savvy.
He
could
honestly,
be president
honestly,
if we forget what he did to California.
In this conversation. But I feel like Aaron Douglas. What was I going to say?
Oh my God!
You were talking to
young white males.
Oh yeah,
losing.
So that's exactly the thing that they talked about the most is that not necessarily getting too specific on the demographics, but that there is a distaste for some of the extreme views, and I don't even mean extreme as bad. Okay, so don't take it that way, but the things that are more on the fringes have become too much of a focus.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he kept talking about 80-20 politics, the thing that matters to 20% or less, but you're making it 80% of the message. Or
I'd call it 95-5 in the sense of...
They said exactly that.
Yeah. Like 95% of what matters you're ignoring, and you're elevating the 5% that almost nobody... Not that nobody cares, or not that it's not important.
Yeah, so the Republicans have done a good job of leaning in on that, and they're winning, so they're doing a good job somehow.
Well, I think,
but the Democrats have done such a poor job, which is why there is so little representation that is prominent for the Democrat Party right now.
Two things. I'm not sure how this relates to manners,
courtesy, and tradition.
And tradition. Oh, I do want to say three things. Tradition. If you've never been raised in tradition, you don't think you're missing anything.
You think it's fake.
You see tradition in your family or in anything. And when you witness that for the first time, it's like, I want that. I want that inclusion. I want to feel that way. So I think that's number one. Number two, I'm not sure how politics play into our conversation today, but I know they do. Manners, etiquette, it's a lost piece in our political system. So that troubles me in ways I can't even begin to understand. That's
we used to not watch, and that's why we thought it was good. And then we watched, and now we're horrified. Some of us blame Trump. Some of us blame the Democrats.
They have to keep the attention so that they can keep
going.
They
would be better off if we weren't paying attention again.
The third piece to that is, Daniel, when you finish reading that Time article, it talks about why not to engage in Trumpism. That when you do engage, all you're doing is putting more fuel.
You're feeding attention.
Yeah.
That is his fuel
from it. Yeah. And I feel like that's a great learning curve for all aspects of life.
Yeah.
That
totally
if we
agree.
if we can find the control within ourselves, and I would refer to that as discipline and manners, that you can find some levity in life. So that's my 2 thoughts. Hey, Fabian, what'd you think about being with us today? Holy shit, we have work to do. Thanks for being with us, Fabian.
Yeah, thank you for having me.